C291 is here. We got Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier for the BMF in the co-main. Alex Pereira making his debut in the light heavyweight division versus Jan Blachowicz. Now let's talk about this main card. First fight of the main card, Michael Chiesa, who has not fought since 2021, which is a little concerning, which was a loss to Sean Brady. And then we have Kevin Holland, who is coming off a win, but also 2 losses against Wonderboy and Khamzat Chimaev, which is, we could count that off. But here, I'm expecting Michael Chiesa. I've listened to his podcast. I listened to a part of his podcast. He said everything's going good so far with the training. He feels good. He feels healthy. He said that his weight is just right, and of course he made weight, which is perfect. And then Kevin Holland, of course, making weight. He trained in Dallas, which is, I would say, kind of, I don't want to say kind of like, too much of a worry because of the altitude, of course, in Utah, where the card is at. And here I'm hoping, I think I'm going to go Kevin Holland. This could be his fight to bring him up to the top 12, give him ranked so far. Michael Chiesa, I just hope he can stay competitive, hope his conditioning is good. And because I think he has been working mostly in the PI in Las Vegas, which I think the altitude is a little bit different, but not too crazy, not like how it is in Texas, in Fort Worth, where Kevin Holland is at. And I think the only W I got to get is that Michael Chiesa got some W John Stockton jerseys that he's been wearing all week. And, I mean, I don't blame him. They're really nice jerseys. But here, Kevin Holland versus Michael Chiesa. I think I'm going to go Kevin Holland. Michael Chiesa really has to take it to the ground and get Kevin Holland tired on the ground. But, I mean, Kevin Holland's no joke also on the ground also. I guess Khamzat Chimaev, but that's a inevitable thing. Tony Ferguson versus Bobby King Green at Kukui. Here, Bobby Green is the heavy favorite at a minus 375. And then, of course, Tony Ferguson, who hasn't really been the same since the Justin Gaethje fight. And, man, I mean, I'm really hoping for him to see these last fights. We have Justin Gaethje, TKO. Charles Oliveira, decision. Beneil Dariush, decision. Michael Chandler with a nasty KO. That was that front kick. And then, of course, Nate Diaz with the front kick. So we had a submission over him in that whole situation where it was him and Nate Diaz and Khamzat fought backstage and all that. But here, I'm really hoping that Tony Ferguson can, come back and get a win. I mean, he's looking more healthy than ever. He looks a lot better. He didn't look that bad in the weight cuts as he did those past fights. And I want to say Bobby Green, but I want Tony Ferguson to come back and not make a run, but not go out the way. Because I think pretty much who loses this, I think if Tony Ferguson loses his fights, his days will be counted in the UFC, which I hope not. So here I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to go with El Cucuy. Third fight, we were supposed to have Wonderboy Thompson versus Mitchell Pereira, and that was going to be a banger, but Mitchell Pereira was over 3 pounds, was not able to make the weight, which is unfortunate, but we got a banger that was in the prelims, and now they filled in right here. We got the Derek Lewis versus Marcos de Lima, which I am excited for this one. I was kind of hoping this originally could have been, a fight, a main event fight. But I mean, now that it's the third fight, I'm excited for this. It's going to be 2 guys in the top 15 just swinging it out and just see who's going to get tired first and get KO'd. And I think Derek Lewis definitely needs this win because he is coming off a lose versus Spiavik, and then of course that I think Spiavik was the one that was, no, Spiavik was submission. Popovich, he got KO'd, but I think that one was the one that was kind of dicey. And then Tuivasa, but of course he was able to beat Dukakis, but that was his last win. Then that hasn't been since 2021. That's tough right here. Hopefully he can bounce back and get this win. And of course De Lima, let's see, what was his last win? It was his last fight versus Cortez Acosta, and then he's on a 2-fight win streak right now. So, man, because this guy, I mean, they're both dogs. They're gonna throw it out. De Lima is the favorite, but I'm gonna go with 2 underdogs in a row, and I'm gonna go with Derek Lewis here. And I mean, 265 with abs. What can I say? That's hilarious. And for the co-main event, the lightweight bout, pretty much for the #1 contender series, pretty much the winner of this fight will fight Jiri Prochazka for the undisputed belt that was vacated by Jamal Hill. Praise to him. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira, and I'm excited for this one. Of course, Jan Blachowicz did beat Luke Rockhold. He did beat Izzy, and I think there was one more that a lightweight that had moved up to, a middleweight that moved up to lightweight. Was it? I think it was Dominic Reyes. I think so. I could be wrong about that. But anybody that has tried to make their debut in light heavyweight, he has introduced them very, very well and beat them. And of course, I can use dummy math and say, well, Jan Blachowicz beat Izzy, who beat Alex Pereira, so Jan Blachowicz should win. But it's also Alex Pereira did beat Izzy, which I don't want to use that math in general. But these two guys, both of them are elite in leg kicks here, and that's what was last in Jan Blachowicz fight versus Ankalaev. He was able to destroy Ankalaev's front leg in those leg kicks. Honestly, I think Ankalaev had won that fight, but a draw, it is what it is at the end of the day. And of course, Alex Pereira, whose front kick that did disturb Izzy in that fight. So I wonder how that matches out. And then I wonder how quick Jan Blachowicz is going to go to try to take down Alex Pereira. But the one thing that I kind of like for Alex Pereira, that he has Glover in his corner. But of course, Glover was the one who beat Jan Blachowicz for the belt. And that's something right there, to have the guy who beat the guy for the belt on your corner, training you, telling you the ins and out of this division, of these fighters, and tell you like how I beat this guy, and how I think, man, I want to say Alex Pereira because I want him versus Jiri Prochazka would be an amazing fight. It would be such a banger. But here, I'm gonna go with Alex. I'm gonna go with Alex Pereira here. Jan Blachowicz. Hopefully, it's a tight fight, real close. I think this will be a decision of Alex Pereira at the end. But I'm ready for either way. I'm wanting to see if Jiri Prochazka is gonna be there and whoever is gonna get called out. I'm ready for this fight. I think this fight has the potential to be the fight of the night, but it probably won't, because the main event, Dustin the Diamond Poirier versus Justin the Highlight Gaethje. This is fight number 2. Of course, Dustin did win number 1, but one thing that really helped Justin in that first fight, I was rewatching it the other day, and it was that front kick for Justin Gaethje that was just tearing up Dustin at the whole entire fight. But of course, with Dustin's counter striking, he was able to land some punches as soon as Justin threw those kicks. But of course, that was 5 years ago. These guys are well improved. They both fought for the belt. They both held the interim belt. But of course, these guys would be champs if there was no such thing as a Khabib Nurmagomedov or a Charles Oliveira. But it is at the end of the day. And I think these guys, they said it's going to be a car crash. These guys are going to throw down. They're going to be real technical. I think the first round they're going to be real safe, and they're just going to, they're just going to feel each other out, see who's going to take the risk early. And then I think when it gets to the end, I think if it somehow gets to 5, it's going to be, we're just, we're going to stand right here and we're just going to throw down and we're just going to fight in this telephone box right here. Which, I think, oh man, this is going to be, I think whoever wins this fight does get a chance to just to face the winner of Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira, which is in October, I believe. But here, Dustin Poirier, I have winning against Justin Gaethje 2 times. And then, of course, Justin Gaethje, hopefully he can get himself back up in the ranks. Probably fight a Beneil Dariush. That would be a good fight next for whoever loses this fight. But here, I'm going to go with Dustin Poirier. So let's go over our 4 winners. Kevin Holland over Michael Chiesa, Tony Ferguson over Bobby Green, Derek Lewis over Marcos de Lima, Alex Pereira over Jan Blachowicz, and Dustin Poirier over Justin Gaethje. Comment down below who you think is going to win these fights and what is next for these fighters. We are on the road to hit 500 subscribers, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we'll see you next time. Peace.